2, 1. We are live. It's the Main Event 365, and I am live right now. And we just love talking some football, and you are watching the Main Event. You can follow us, and that would be very helpful. I'm on the phone right now with Main Event Mike. Main Event
One
Mike.
Pride.
One pride. And we were just talking about how we love talking football. And we were on here. What were we doing? Talking
football.
We were talking football on the telephone. And it's just like, why aren't we going live and talking football and inviting some of the other people that are out there to come on to the live and talk some football with us? Now,
Right. Go ahead, Russ.
we are live on the Detroit Lions news right now, so we are going to have to ask you to watch your P's and Q's, but I did throw the link into the comments right there. Hop on here, talk some football with us. And what are we talking about? Hendon Hooker? Hendon Hooker in the third, Mike. You called this. Just give your first initial thoughts right here. I mean, we're going to talk about it tonight, but yeah, let's continue this conversation.
Let's do that. I tell you, and it's just not anything special because you and I talk football every single morning, every single day. We talk football for at least a half an hour to an hour. We talk about what's going on with the Main Event. And if you're out there listening right now, be sure to head over to our YouTube channel and subscribe, or go over to our Facebook page and follow if you're not already. And Hendon Hooker in the third, my friend, could be the steal of the draft.
Yeah.
He ends up being our quarterback of the future. I know he's 25 years old, but he's got a lot of experience in college, and I think the Lions can milk at least 5-6 years out of this guy's out of his career that could put us to the next level when Jared Goff moves on.
Right. Yeah, and here's the thing is like the fact that it's just a third round pick. I think it's getting undersold out there because of the talent of this guy. He was widely considered a top 10 pick before the injury. Why do you think that we're not really talking about this as much? Is it just because we already have a quarterback in place?
It's because we have a quarterback in place, and there's no doubt around the league. I mean, there's a lot of Goff haters out there, but as far as around the league, everyone knows that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell believe that they have their franchise quarterback. They have their Joe Burrow. They have their Justin Herbert. So everyone around the league knows there's not a lot of chatter going on about Hendon Hooker. Oh, my gosh, is he going to overtake Goff? Brad Holmes even said with his own mouth at his post-draft presser, look, he's a rookie who was drafted third round. There is zero pressure on him, unquote. And I'll tell you, if anything, I believe it'll drive Jared Goff, knowing that there's not Nate Sudfeld nipping at his heels. There's a guy like Hendon Hooker who is barreling, by the way, towards a Heisman Trophy, coming off an incredible game against Alabama.
Right.
He for the year, he was 27 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. The guy's only thrown 5 interceptions in his whole career. He's got over 40 starts between 2 programs.
Right.
At Virginia and Tennessee. So 25 years old. He's as NFL ready as any quarterback in this draft, barring the ACL injury, of course. And it's a beautiful thing. And Brad Holmes, when he was sitting there at pick 68, was licking his chops to get this kid. Let us know what you think. Put it in the comments. Do you think Hendon Hooker is the quarterback of the future for the Detroit Lions? Let us know.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And yeah, we want to know what you think because we're just a couple knuckleheads with a podcast right here. But Hendon Hooker in the third round, is he the future? Is he the future of the Detroit Lions, or is this just a savvy pick and a nice backup addition? I mean, he can learn the offense, and like you said, there's no pressure in there, but the kid's got the skill set. I mean, he was dropping dimes. I'm watching some of the highlights on this guy, and it's amazing the skill set that's there, but it can't be understated that the type of offense that Tennessee runs isn't very pro style. So the learning curve is going to be pretty drastic. So I think he did fall for that kind of reason too, because,
maybe, but Brad Holmes addressed that too in his interview with Tim Twentyman, that you can say what you want about Josh Heupel's offense there in Tennessee, but what it requires is quick decision making,
right?
Audibles at the line, reading the defense. What are you seeing? And then audibling out to make adjustments, which is exactly what they do in the pros. And these are things that young quarterbacks have to learn when they come into the NFL. Hendon Hooker's already learned it. He's already been using it. 2 years at Tennessee, he's been doing it every day. And what I think what does get undersold about it, this guy also, Russ, is the leadership that we talked about earlier. Brad Holmes said they went to the Florida-Tennessee game, and they were there to scout Gervon Dexter, the defensive tackle from Florida. And what they ended up doing was keeping an eye on Hendon Hooker. And Brad Holmes was really taken with how this kid demonstrated how he carried himself. Like after a routine punt play, he's there on the sideline, slapping hands, high-fiving every member of the punt team, encouraging everyone against their arch rival Florida. So, and of course, they won that game. So, Brad Holmes said, his own words, Brad Holmes said, okay, this guy's different. This guy could be the kind of guy we're looking for. So it's a great fit. And I'm just stoked, and I can't wait for this season.
So now here's a elephant in the room kind of question right here that you'll probably get asked because he is such a high profile pick. And if he does start doing well, how long do you think that it takes? Like, is it one game between, let's say, 1 and 5 games before the Lions fan base would turn on Jared Goff for having bad games with Hendon Hooker being the backup quarterback?
Well, this is the NFL. So, NFL fans are not for long. So if you start to drop off, if the production drops off, it's only natural that the fans will be calling for a change.
Right.
And when you've got a guy with this kind of talent sitting on the sideline, you can't just leave him there. And they will know in practice. They'll see in practice the progress, the development, and they'll know whether he's ready to go in or not. I think this problem, this question will answer itself. But, hey, I got to jump off, Russ. Anybody out there listening, please jump on with Russ and interact with him so he's not sitting there talking to himself, because Lord knows he talks to himself enough.
Yeah, I definitely do. Well, thanks for stopping by, Mike.
I'll see you tonight on the main event.
Excellent. All right.
All right, my friend. I'm out.
So that is Main Event Mike right there. He is the host, our illustrious host of the NFC North Open Mic, which will be available tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you are a Chicago Bears fan, or you're a Lions fan, you're a Vikings fan, or a Green Bay Packer fan, then yeah, you can hop on and you can argue some football with us tonight. But this is, we are broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions news right now, which means there probably isn't too many Packer fans that are out there. But yeah, come on into the comments, man. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about this first round pick. I think it's such an interesting pick when you come with Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Jahmyr Gibbs, it surprised everybody on planet Earth that Jahmyr Gibbs would be the pick at 12. But let's put this into perspective. So you're there at 6, and I'm thinking that Devin Witherspoon was probably their guy at 6, because he had said that there was a couple of guys that were taken before the pick, and just felt the need that he could trade down at that spot. So I think that Will Anderson was probably one of those guys. But when you had a plethora of guys that are in a cluster, I think trading down and getting a second round pick was a good idea. And him doing that, and then he selected Jahmyr Gibbs. So it was a surprise to us. That is an understatement. But after the Swift trade, it kind of makes a little more sense. And then you have a good 1-2 punch there with Montgomery and Gibbs. Gibbs is able to do a lot of that receiving stuff out of the backfield. And gosh, game-breaking speed. That's something that we haven't had here in a while, right? The game-breaking speed. The fact that you could have Goff being the distributor, that's the main thing with Goff that people misunderstand, is he's not the playmaking guy. He is a distributor. So if he can get the ball out of his hands fast and into playmakers' hands, that's where you're putting him at the best advantage. So they've built the entire offensive line around Goff, and now they're dropping in these playmakers. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, he's a guy that could get 20 touches. And if you're looking for fantasy football, him versus Bijan in the fantasy football thing, Jahmyr Gibbs versus Bijan Robinson. I mean, it's like a pick your poison kind of thing, right? I mean, last year, Tyler Algier, however you say that name, you can help me out. But that was a good running attack they had there in Atlanta, even though the record didn't really show it. And now you're going to drop in Bijan Robinson into that spot. So Bijan Robinson versus Jahmyr Gibbs. And let's just talk the fantasy stuff right here. So let me got Bijan Robinson. Oh, no. Robinson versus Jahmyr Gibbs, fantasy football style. Why don't you throw your comment in there and let me know who you think is going to have a better fantasy production between Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Let me spell that right again. I'm doing bad. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I think that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be in a better situation to do better, especially in the PPR. So if it's a PPR league, I would definitely go with the Jahmyr Gibbs over Bijan just because of point per reception, right? I think that Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to get 12 targets a game out of the backfield. Little quick passes, outlet passes that, kind of bail Jared Goff out. He's not the best when people do get a pressure on him, and then he has to make decisions while under duress if they're not doing well at blocking. So I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a great outlet for Jared Goff, where Bijan Robinson is going to be more kind of a 3-down bell cow back. They're going to be grinding the football. I don't think he's going to get as many per receptions, but in the goal line type of situation, Bijan is probably going to get all the goal line carries. So that's going to be an advantage in a touchdown dependent league if they're not doing PPR. So I would go with Bijan Robinson in the fantasy football perspective. So, in real football, I mean, Bijan Robinson is touted as like one of the best running backs to come out since like Adrian Peterson, or even Saquon Barkley. I think that Jahmyr Gibbs is a much different style of back where he's going to give you a lot more value in the passing game than Bijan would give. So I think this is a great debate, and I can't wait to see this play out between Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson between this year and the end. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments what you would think is Bijan Robinson versus Jahmyr Gibbs from fantasy perspective or from real perspective, if there's even a difference in that. So you guys can hop on here. I did throw a link into the Detroit Lions in the news in the comments, in the main event as the comments. So you can hop on this show and have a conversation with me. What do you want to talk about? What's going on in the NFL? There were some rumors. So let's really take a look at this. The Sports Illustrated rumors. Let me see if I can bring this up. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Boom. There we go. So, in the fan nation, should the Lions pull the summer blockbuster trade and go get defensive tackle Quinnen Williams? I mean, that's pretty interesting, don't you think? Quinnen Williams. If you think that there is a deficit in the defensive tackle position, and if the Lions were to go and get Quinnen Williams, how would that affect this Detroit Lions defense? They've already made, let me get this other banner out of the way. We are no longer talking about Gibbs. We are now talking about Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams, would he make a good Detroit Lion? Would that not be the blockbuster trade of the summer? Would that not push the Lions over? I think they're already Super Bowl contenders. And that's crazy because we haven't won a playoff game. I'm sounding like a Lions homer right here. But I think that they are Super Bowl contenders. I mean, really, if you make it into the playoffs, you're a Super Bowl contender because anything can happen because these 6 and 7 seeds have won the Super Bowl before. But should the Lions go and trade for Quinnen Williams? I mean, you got Aleem McNeil sitting right there. You just re-signed Isaiah Buggs. You drafted Broderick Martin in the 3rd round. I mean, I was talking earlier about them trading for Aaron Donalds, but this is Quinnen Williams. This is a very young player. This is a guy that could be the cornerstone of the defensive line if they were to trade for him. This is not a Band-Aid. This is something that could be long term. I don't even know how realistic this is, but it is on Fan Nation and the All Lions with our friends over there, John Macaroon. And this is good. I mean, I like it. It says New York Jets defensive tackle is not anywhere close to signing a long-term extension with the team that made him the number 3 overall pick in the 2019 draft. So according to ESPN, the two sides aren't even close on the agreement, and the talented defensive lineman has decided to skip voluntary offseason workouts. I mean, is that really that big of a deal? I mean, there's a lot of superstar type athletes that don't go to the voluntary, off-season type of stuff. And I don't think that's that big of a deal. But he's seeking a contract figure likely that Jeffrey Simmons, who just secured a 4-year, $94 million extension with the Tennessee Titans. I mean, you're talking about an interior defensive lineman here, guys. I mean, you really want to pay $20 million. So let's look at it. In 2022, Williams earned an All-Pro nod and was named a first-team All-Pro and secured 55 tackles, 12 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, 4 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles, and 16 appearances. So just the fact that he had 16 appearances, he's pretty durable. And 12 sacks from the interior position, that's very, very good production. And but they really need to get this. They need to get this done as far as the Jets. The Jets need to get this done. They need to sign this guy to a multi-year deal because you just brought in Aaron Rodgers to win a title. And Quinnen Williams is a big part of why your defense was a top 5 defense. Okay. So you don't want this guy to get out the door. And if you're dumb enough to let the Lions trade for this guy and put him in the middle of our defense, wow. At 25 years old, Williams could anchor the Lions defense for the foreseeable future and make a serious run at the Super Bowl. While it would cost a significant amount of draft capital and long-term financial commitment, Detroit may just be the team that looks to alleviate the growing tensions between Williams and the Jets. So this doesn't seem like a very Brad Holmesy kind of move, but gosh, it's so intriguing, right? Whenever you have a chance to get great players, I mean, that's what you want to do, right? That's his job, is to make the roster better. And there's no doubt in my mind that Quinnen Williams would make this Lions defensive unit a lot better, especially on the defensive line. It'll open up things for Aiden Hutchinson. It'll open up things for James Houston. These guys going into their second year. Gosh, this is an exciting time to be a Detroit Lions fan. Give me a 1 pride in the comments if you're hearing any of the things that we're laying down. We decided to go live today, and and in the template of Woodward Sports, one of my favorite shows is, they're putting out content every day and they love talking football. We love talking football, and we can look at the news here for the Lions and just come up with something to talk about. Come on in, man. I put the link of the StreamYard. Come on in and have a conversation with me. Don't be scared. I mean, it is kind of weird. My neighbors, they're probably listening to me just like talk to myself up here in my little studio, my Detroit Lions all made studio here. Thank you, Bob Wisely, for donating all of this great Lions paraphernalia that you see behind me, all kinds of cool little knickknacks and stuff. Jack Campbell. Let's bring it. Let's talk about Jack Campbell, because I think this is an underrated signing as well, because it's one of those things like cost value, right? When they say that you like these certain positions aren't positions that you're supposed to draft high. Now that comes from a salary cap. That is a salary cap driven type of statement. So when you're looking at Jahmyr Gibbs at pick 12, for instance, right? That you're already going to make him like a top 15 paid running back in this league, and he hasn't even taken a snap yet. So when they say that you don't get those positions of value right there, that's the kind of stuff they're talking about. And like inside linebackers don't make as much money as pass rushers do, or some of these high-end interior defensive linemen. So when Jack Campbell, he's already going to be paid like a top 20 linebacker, and he hasn't taken a snap yet. Whereas if they took a pass rusher at that same position, where they're going to have to pay it, it's going to be like the 50th pass rusher. So the pressure that's going to go on like an interior defensive lineman at that position isn't going to be as much as there's going to be on Jack Campbell to produce as a middle linebacker. So I loved the pick. Like I screamed like a little girl when they selected Jack Campbell, because he was one of my favorite players in the draft, just because he's got that old school grit, the mentality. He reminds me of like Jack Lambert, like some of these great, like the steel curtain defense, the throwback. I feel like Jack Campbell should be missing teeth, but this is the modern NFL. We got great dental insurance. They can put new teeth back in there and still make the smile look good. But he's a throwback, man. And you think that Jack Campbell is just a run stuffer when you look at his build. You just, okay, he's going to be a 2-down linebacker. But God, his pass grade was like 92 in coverage. I mean, this guy's got ball skills. When he makes interceptions, he can take it to the house. And I don't know if it's his basketball background, but he can just palm the ball and get these like one-handed grabs. And he's so long that he can cover a lot of the middle of that field. I mean, he is good at stopping and run. So that's what you're wanting in a linebacker. And when we were talking about Jack Campbell, I was talking with Mike about it the other day. It's like all of the other positions, like let's just take like this pick 18. Let's say we would have taken like a cornerback at that spot. Let's say we took Joey Porter Jr. at that spot. Now, Joey Porter Jr. is a great player, and it would have been looked at as maybe even a better pick than the Jack Campbell thing. But what if you draft Joey Porter Jr. and then you put him onto the team where you got Sutton, you got Mosley, you got Jerry Jacobs, who've already got solidified spots, and then you're looking for this guy to impact the team during the middle of the season, right? Joey Porter, where's Joey Porter? Oh, that's going to be a bust of a pick, right? Where Jack Campbell is dropping into a depth chart that your best linebacker is Alex Anzalone. I mean, that's an instant upgrade to that room. That makes the team better right now. He's going to be a full, like 100% starter in the middle of that defense. He's instantly the best linebacker on the Lions unit. And from a talent perspective, I mean, just when you look at this guy's character, an academic, he won the academic Heisman, meaning that he's one of the smartest players that in this draft for sure. And you couple that with the leadership, and the other guys that played with Jack Campbell at Iowa said if there was a player that they wanted to play with, it would be Jack Campbell that they wanted to play with in the NFL. So from a leadership, instantaneously upgrades that room. And the room was okay last year. They thought that the linebacker room for the Lions was going to be atrocious, right? They thought it was going to be awful, and it was average. It was a little bit above average when you bring in Malcolm Rodriguez, a nice 6th-round pick that they had only touted to be a special teams type of guy. Well, he worked his way up the roster and was able to contribute. Alex Anzalone had a career year. I mean, I was an Alex Anzalone hater. And then when they extended him, I 100% believe they should have extended him because he earned it. He proved all the naysayers wrong, and he played well last year. Maybe not like Luke Kuechly well, but he had a career year. Alex Anzalone deserved that contract. Derek Barnes stepped it up at the end of last year, really started to show some progression. So now you're going to drop Jack Campbell, a natural-born leader. I do believe he's going to be in a Lions uniform for 10-plus years. So is a cornerstone piece. In 5 years, no one's going to give a shit that they drafted him at 18th overall. They're not going to be like, oh, wow, that all-pro nod that he just got. Man, if they would have only drafted him in the 2nd round, like Mel Kiper said nobody ever. If the guy balls out, the guy balls out. Jack Campbell, starting middle linebacker. Tell me what you think. Throw it into the comments. Did you like and follow the page yet? You don't have to. I mean, I'm just a knucklehead with a podcast right here. I love talking football. I do have a link right there in the comments. I can throw it out there again. If you want to come on and have a conversation with me, feel free. I don't mind talking to myself. It's just everybody around me just thinks I'm crazy. They're like, why is this guy just up there? He's like, maybe they think I'm on the phone or something, right? But what do you want to talk about? It's the morning. We have the NFC North open mic tonight. You want to talk some crap? Oh, thoughts on the post-draft free agents. Okay. So I know what I do know about is that we picked up a safety, the safety from Notre Dame. Let me see if I can't find that. Detroit Lions. You're talking about the UDFA's fan? Phan. Is that how you say it? Is that fan? Fan? Nugent? Gosh, I'm very, very bad with names, but I appreciate you chiming in right there. So UDFAs, let's look this up. The Pride of Detroit, the most trustworthy site right there. There's some of my favorite. I like Jeremy Reisman. Some of my go-to guys right there. Adrian Martinez from Kansas State. We got him as a quarterback. Running back Muhammad Ibrahim from Minnesota. That's one right there that I really, really like. Let me share this. Let me share this screen for you. So this is from Pride of Detroit right here. Where'd you go? Okay, right there. So we're looking at, like right there, Muhammad Ibrahim, $100,000 guaranteed. Now this guy, I mean, I think the only reason that he slid out and became a UDFA, I mean, he's got a lot of tread on the tires, for a college player. I mean, he's had lots and lots and lots of carries, but he was the Big Ten running back of the year. I mean, Michigan should know about them. Ohio State knows about them. Let's see what else we got here. Where was that guy? Where's that safety at? I wanted to talk about, Brandon Joseph. This right here, I know had to have been one of the draft. Had to be one of the draft guys they had on their draft board, because I didn't think that he was going to make it out. I think they slated him as like a fifth round pick that made it all the way through. So I love that pick right there. I mean, anytime that you can add depth to the secondary rooms, which was atrocious last year for the Lions, like that was the biggest weakness. We had a draft class, with Aiden Hutchinson, Pascal, Malcolm Rodriguez, and James Houston. That draft class had more sacks than any other rookie class in NFL history. So they got some dogs that can get to the passer. They just had a lot of problems in the secondary. Fawn Win. Okay. It's pronounced Fawn Win. Okay. I apologize, man. But this is a great topic right here because I think that undrafted free agents are they're undersold when it comes to impact on a team. If you think of the last couple of years, like when Brad Holmes took over the Detroit Lions, I mean, he really he kind of got crapped on, don't you think? I mean, you had these contracts like Trey Flowers, and who's that? Danny Shelton, Jamie Collins, these ridiculously big contracts that they cut these guys. And we were like 60 million behind the cap the first year. And he had to fill a lot of the roster with UDFAs and, waiver wire type of picks, right? Oh, veteran free agents. Okay. Well, I mean, the UDFA is just cool. Well, I can't get anything right with you, Fawn. But let's talk about this. I want to put this up here. So Fawn says, I was talking more of the veteran free agents like Teddy Bridgewater. I would like, I can't even, I know that they have to, how do you even say that? But anyway, I like the idea of having Teddy Bridgewater. As cool as it is, because we were just talking about how awesome Hendon Hooker, that pick was as a developmental. But I do believe it's going to take a minute for him to get acclimated to the way that, pro style offenses and defenses run. So I love the idea of bringing in a Teddy Bridgewater and having him back up Jared Goff, because we don't know what's going to happen. I think it's going to take a few weeks. We get at least 10 weeks into the season before I would want to throw Hendon Hooker out there. Even, you don't want to throw these guys out there before they're ready. I mean, you can destroy a rookie quarterback's career quicker than you can win it over by, having them win that trial by fire, right? Not everybody's going to win that trial by fire, but if you can get somebody acclimated to the game, have them understand how, the routines of the pro game go, and then lead your team after that. That's where the Jordan Love talk. If you're not scared of Jordan Love, I understand. But if you are scared of Jordan Love and the unknown, I also understand that too, because this guy's been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 4 years, and you don't know what he's been doing behind closed doors. What is this guy going to do when he gets 30 attempts a game, right? So Jordan Love is unknown. They just replaced the whole offensive line in Chicago and gave Justin Fields some pass catchers. So it's like, who knows what Justin Fields is? He going to break out? I mean, he had 1,000 yards rushing last year. If he can throw the ball a little bit, that's going to be a lot better of a team. So there's a lot of unknowns. And if Goff were to go down, I would feel a lot better, Fawn, by having Teddy Bridgewater as a competent backup, even if you got to pay him some good money to have that competent backup to come in. But if not, then I guess I understand that too. I mean, you want to put the franchise into the hands of Nate Sudfields, man. Let's go. No, I don't think that we really want to do that. And that's why we drafted Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round. But that's a good topic right there. So let's talk about you, Tyrone Thomas. Thank you. I know Tracy Walker is coming back from a big injury last season. I think Joseph is insurance just in case he doesn't look good. I like that call out, but then you double dip and let's go one deeper than that. And then you go ahead and you draft Brian Branch at the 45th pick overall. Heck yeah, look at that. You go through and the Brad Holmes de-pantsing of Gutekunst real quick. I mean, you let us move up 3 spots to pick a safety, the best safety on the board. You needed a safety, Green Bay. You needed a safety. And you let us trade up and get that for a 5th round pick? Come on, man. Now Green Bay did pretty well in days 3 for sure. They found some value in there, but you let us trade up 3 spots and pick a safety. Come on, man. Yeah, this division, man. So you bring in Brian Branch, who is the best Swiss Army knife secondary player in this year's draft. I mean, yeah, that's definitely telling you. Okay, let's see. So Tyrone says that's definitely telling you they see what's going on behind closed doors. Well, what we're seeing outside the closed doors, Tyrone, is that Brad Holmes is building a deep roster. You know, when you're drafting a 2nd round pick, normally, if you're a building franchise, you're wanting this guy to be a starter, usually your 2nd round picks. And the fact that we got all 3 of our 2nd round picks that the Lions had, they could be contributors, but there's not a lot of pressure for any of those guys to start. Starting with Sam Laporta, right? The 3-headed monster that they built last year, not named TJ Hawkinson, with Brock Wright, James Mitchell, and Shane Zylstra. They had 12 touchdowns down the stretch last year. That's a good tight end room. Now, Sam Laporta is an upgrade. He's an upgrade in talent over everybody that's in that room, but he has no pressure to start. And then you come in with Brian Branch. You got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson as a safety. Tracy Walker's coming back from an Achilles injury as a safety. Kirby Joseph had a very good rookie year as a safety. There is zero pressure. There's zero pressure for Brian Branch to do anything. But he can be a competent rotational piece that's going to contribute to the secondary. Natural born leader, who's the captain of the defense. That's another thing that Brad Holmes loves to do. He loves to stack leaders upon leaders. There's an entire 50-man roster of nothing but leaders on the Detroit Lions team. And then they drafted a whole bunch of leaders. So Tyrone, you and I are having a conversation here. No D tackle drafted high is surprising. Broderick Martin, am calling it now. He is going to be the best D tackle they had against the run since Snacks. Oh, God, what a great nickname for a defensive tackle. Snacks. Bring me some snacks. I love it. Yeah, and I love the pick of Broderick Martin. Now, the fact that they traded up into the 3rd round and they gave up a 4th round pick and a 5th round pick to get Broderick Martin, and they picked Broderick Martin over like Ojimo from Texas, from Ika from Baylor. And these were guys that were rated a lot higher, but it was obvious that Brad Holmes was trying to get specific types of dudes that were, fitting the scheme. So Broderick Martin is just a straight like dude that you can't move, 2 down, run stuffing defensive tackle. You are not going to see this guy show up in the stat lines all that much. But what you will do is see a little uptick in stats of guys like Aiden Hutchinson, Pascal, and Houston, and our pass rushers, because this guy is going to eat people. This guy's going to eat people. And I mean that in the sense of the word, like, you ain't going to move this guy with his low center of gravity. He's 330 pounds, 6'2". Like, he's a dude that is just going to, you're not going to be able to move him back. So they're going to have to put a couple of guys on him because he eats up so much space. And that's perfect for our pass rushers. That's something that's going to help our pass rushers. What are your thoughts on the real chances that we win the North this division? I think it's the Detroit Lions division to lose this year. They've done the most. I mean, think about it. So, Dom, last year we were 9-8, and we were 9-8 with pretty much the roster that was before we even went to free agency, right? That was with, Amani Oruwariye. That was with Okudah, and these players that were, I'm sorry to say, they weren't playing. Deshaun Elliott. So you go into free agency with this 9-8 roster. You upgrade. You get Sutton is an upgrade over Oruwariye. Mosley. Sutton and Mosley are upgraded over Okudah and Oruwariye. Chauncey Gardner is an upgrade over Deshaun Elliott. Immediately, that makes it better right there. And then you go into the draft, and then you upgrade the running back room. You upgrade the tight end room. You definitely upgraded the linebacker room. So it is our division to lose. I believe that wholeheartedly. Unless we get this PTSOL, we have this term we coined this here at the at the Main Event 365. PTSOL, post traumatic same old Lions, right? When you get to the end of the game and you get that gut feeling, don't give Justin Fields another shot, don't give Aaron Rodgers another shot, and you get that SOL feeling, like we're about ready to steal defeat from the jaws of victory. We have it. We're going to win the game. It's feeling good. And then you get that PTSOL feeling. I think that was defeated last year when you go into Lambeau and then you steal their souls like that. Like, they can try to undersell it. Oh, this was not the best team. You guys beat a beaten and down team. It's like, no, we didn't. That team was on a roll. The Packers were one of the best teams down the stretch last year, and they were coming in with their chest pumped out and their chest felt out. And there's every reason that they should have won that game and went into the playoffs. They were already talking like they were a playoff team. And the Lions showed their heart and killed SOL in Lambeau, stuck a dagger right through the heart of same old Lions. And they're going to prove it this year. They are going to win the NFC North this year, and I'm calling it. So who is your favorite player who we have returning that nobody is talking about? That's a great question. Let's think about it. That's a great question to pose out there. So who's a player that nobody is talking about? I got a player for you. So, Dom, you ready for this? You ready for this? Josh Pascal. Josh Pascal. Last year, he had a hernia for like the first 6 games, and it took him a minute to get out there. But this kid was a 2nd-round pick last year coming out of Kentucky, a 4-year captain out of Kentucky. This kid is a natural-born leader, and his impact comes from on downs 1 and 2. This guy is on the outside and can set an edge. He did it at Kentucky as good as anybody coming out of the draft, setting an edge. But a cool thing about him is on 3rd down, he shifts in as a pass rusher and actually has a better pass rushing grade from the interior. which makes him very valuable, especially in a rotation where you got different guys being able to show different looks and exploit different types of matchups. Pascal is that guy. I expect a big thing, a big year out of Pascal. I think he's going to get between 7 and 10 sacks this year. So Josh Pascal is my guy for right there. Who is your guy? Who cares what I think? Like, if you want to watch smart people, there's a whole bunch of very, very smart podcasters that are out here. I'm not one of those guys. I just like talking football. But Josh Pascal is my guy. Who is your guy? Who is nobody talking about for the Detroit Lions that people should be talking about? It's a great question. Thank you for that comment, Dom. And thank you for watching Main Event 365 right here. Follow and like the page. We appreciate the Detroit Lions news for letting us broadcast live in here. Detroit Darcy, we appreciate you for hooking us up with the Detroit Lions news so we can get all of our knucklehead answers out here. All right. Thanks for the info and your opinions, my guy. Awesome. So I like Dom. Dom, we should get Dom to come out here. I'm going to throw the link here into the comments again. If you want to come on to the show, man, don't be shy. I'll throw the link in there again. And we can come on and we can rap about football every single day, as far as I'm concerned. I think I want to make this a thing. I want to remind everybody that tonight we are going live with some Packer fans, Viking fans, Bear fans. We got to show them what's what, man. This is going to be our division, and we need some Lions representative to be on there for tonight. So, because sometimes they fire at us. There's a lot of Packer fans that come on there, and they like to troll us, but we hold our ground. We like to talk some smack just like everybody else. It's our division. Oh, I like that right there. Tyrone Thomas with both Okwaras. Now, when Romeo came back, that's an excellent pick right there, Tyrone. When Romeo came back last year, he had 2 sacks in the game that he came back. Like that's impact. And then he took a pay cut to stay here. Now, when they signed him to the extension, they signed him like he was going to be a starting level defensive end. He doesn't have to be that now. That's why the pay cut, he gets to be a rotational piece with starter type talent. So I love that call right there. I expect a big year out of the Okwara. So thanks for that comment, Tyrone. I'm going to have to hop off here because I have a autistic son that is awesome, and he gets off the bus here in about 10 minutes. I'm going to go get ready for that. But as a reminder, tonight, please jump on here tonight. If you're a Lions fan, we need all the help we can get against these pesky Packer, Viking, and Bear fans that think that their teams are all awesome. We need representation tonight. Follow and like the page, Main Event 365. Subscribe to the YouTube channel because it is free. And God bless you guys. Let me see if I can find I don't know if I have do I have my clip? I'll find it. Let me find. I want to end it in the right way right here. Let me see if I can't find my I gotta find my intro because I'm on Darcy's StreamYard right here. So let's see. Finished reels April. All right. Let's see. Main Event 365. Let me see. All right, now I can get this thing going. It took a minute for it to load up. Let's get it going. Gosh, this is taking me way too long. I apologize for all my peeps out there. Like I said, I really, really am wanting to get you guys onto the show tonight. God bless you guys. We'll see you guys later. Tonight, 7 p.m.